Greetings. I found a video from about 3 years ago where Mark Cuban discusses his opinions on gold and to a lesser extent Bitcoin, which is very correct about the problems with gold as an investment thesis, and he doesn't go into enough detail about why that's the case. And some of the language he uses is perhaps excessive and crude rather than professional in a finance sense, but the basic crux of his points are correct because gold is a terrible thing to be investing in. And I will cite one of my videos about why that is the case frequently throughout this particular video. So without further ado, we shall go to what Mark Cuban has said about gold as an investment thesis.
What do you think are some of the safest bets for your money right now?
Safe? I mean, you got to look at your own financial situation.
I guess the reason I use the word safe is for my next question on gold, up 2.5% for the first quarter. I know in the past you've seen it as a speculative bet. How do you see it today?
I hate gold. Gold is a religion. There's some fundamental value to gold, but everything else, it's a collectible. I see gold and Bitcoin as being the same thing.
Well, hate is a strong word.
Okay.
So the miners too, all of gold, the whole gold spectrum.
Individually, as people, I've heard they're great people. But as an investment, okay, you're right. Hate is not strong enough. Hate with extreme prejudice as an investment.
Oh gosh. Okay, so Bitcoin and gold on the same level for you.
Both collectibles.
Okay.
This is absolutely correct because the problem with gold is that it is an inert commodity. It does not have any knowledge-based component and therefore is not dematerialized. In fact, it is fully materialized, which is why, as a commodity, it is structurally against technological progress. If the price of gold rises above a certain level, the technology to increase gold supply will move even faster than that and keep gold underperforming relative to knowledge-based investment vehicles such as the stock market and in particular technology stocks, despite whatever corrections technology stocks might have. Now, I described this in great detail in this video up here, but the general thesis, which deserves frequent repeating, is that gold is not something that has the inherent fundamentals that would enable it to rise in price, and it is certainly not a hedge against inflation, even if we were to have high inflation, which is not what is happening because quantitative easing no longer causes inflation even at its current levels of volume. We continue with Mark Cuban.
And the bad news about gold is they'll keep on mining more.
Well, Goldman Sachs says that we only have 20 years left of mineable gold.
Okay, that is absurd. For one thing, Goldman Sachs is way too smart to say something like that. So if Goldman Sachs said there's only 20 more years of mineable gold, that is because Goldman Sachs is trying to do a pump and dump scheme on the suckers. They're trying to make gold go up so that they can sell to people who think it's going to be in scarcity, and those small investors are left holding the bag. Goldman Sachs, I guarantee, does not truly believe that because that is exactly the same belief as peak oil, and we know how that turned out.
Well, then in 20 years, we could have another conversation.
So you don't see gold as money then?
No, I do not see it as an alternative to currency. No, not at all.
Let's turn to Facebook now, segue.
But let me say it one more time. Hate with extreme prejudice is not enough. Hate with double extreme prejudice with that ounce of hot sauce.
Where does this hate for gold come from? Like, did it do something to you in a past life?
No, just because I knew it was so important to you, I know you.
Do you feel the same about silver? Or is there any metal you like? Yeah. Palladium, platinum?
No, I mean, I think, I don't know those others as well, but those are pretty much based off their intrinsic value as much as I can tell.
So you're in the camp of gold is just a pet rock?
Pretty much.
Pretty much, all right.
But
That's actually a good way to put it. Gold is a collectible item. It is jewelry that looks good, but as an investment vehicle, it is among the worst out there for the reasons that I mentioned. The very definition of a commodity means that it does not have any knowledge component, and technology is now at a stage that it quickly acts to increase supply. This may not have been true in the 1970s when we had increases in gold price as well as oil price because the technonomic medium of the world was not powerful and adaptable enough to respond to higher prices with increases in supply. But now we are in that age, and it's no longer an age where anything that has a scarcity-based model can really rise a lot in price. And that includes Bitcoin because there are 12,000 other cryptocurrencies in addition to Bitcoin. But at least Bitcoin has gone up for the people who are in it. Gold has demonstrably terrible returns. So we continue.
I'd buy a pet rock first.
And that is why this video, which was more than 3 years ago and before all these hyperinflation people got greater wind in their sails, which is about to be taken out very soon, he was still correct about gold. It in fact did rise a little bit since the time of this video, but it rose less than the stock market. Now the other thing to keep in mind is there are gradients of people. I make fun of Peter Schiff in this video over here. He's very pro-gold because he believes there'll be hyperinflation any day now. And again, number one, even if there were hyperinflation, gold is not the right thing to buy because he's attacking the US Federal Reserve, the central bank of one country which does only 25% of the world's printing, but then saying a worldwide commodity, which is priced the same worldwide, will go up. So he inherently assumes that the United States is the only nation in the world. But at least he's also against Bitcoin, so there's some consistency there. Much worse than Peter Schiff is Robert Kiyosaki, who I make fun of in this video over here. He's pro-gold, and he says he has bought it for 50 years, which means his returns for 50 years have been terrible. He never talks about the returns of gold. But then in the same video, he says how he's pro-Bitcoin. Then he talks about how great the returns of Bitcoin have been, so why did he not talk about the returns of gold? Because gold has been a terrible, terrible vehicle for financial returns. And he makes it even religious in a way, saying that gold and silver are God's money. I mean, the periodic table of the elements is the periodic table of the elements. How is it God's money? If anything, technological progress is one of the fundamental principles of nature, and any inert commodity is a bet against technological progress and therefore a bet against nature. So definitely check out that video again. But I hope you found this video to be informative, and if you like this type of content, I urge you to subscribe to this channel. Thank you very much for watching.